Council for the Advancement of Muslim Professionals, New York chapter. Yusef is also the founder and project director of HomelessForOneWeek.com, an annual initiative that he started in 2009 to raise awareness about homelessness in New York City. In the summer of 2010, Yusef was nominated as New York One News Queen's Person of the Week for his charitable efforts in shedding light on homelessness. Homeless for 1 Week was also featured in New York Daily News, The Village Voice, Ilan Magazine, ArabNews.com, America.gov, and DNAinfo.com. Yusef's online portfolio, YusefRamelize.com, has a range of graphic design projects that he has worked on over the past years. Some of the nonprofit and Muslim organizations that he has worked on include CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, Islamic Relief's A Day of Dignity, and the Islamic Center at NYU's Fastathon, and Ilan Online Magazine, as well as GreenDeanBook.com. Yusef holds a BFA in Electronic Design and Multimedia from the City College of New York. And with that, I give you Brother Yusef.
Tested. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. I kind of wanted to make this a little interactive, where like I show some videos, tell you a little bit about my project, and kind of have like a discussion going on instead of just me standing up here and talking for the whole night. Let's see how we should do this. First thing first, I have some brochures that I want to hand out to. So there's some brochures there. Slide that out to everyone. Is it possible for everyone to come in a little closer, please? Thanks. Thank you. Just because I'm going to be playing some videos, I wanted everyone to hear. So first, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight to tell you about my project, Homeless for 1 Week. I started this in 2009. I was just reading about, how, the epidemic of homelessness and everything okay in the back there? Okay. I just, I wanted to do something about it. And I remember the first person I told was my director. I remember telling her, I was like, her name is Sarah Craven, and I was like, I really want to do something about homelessness, and I think I'm gonna, go homeless for a week. And I just remember her looking at me like, "What? Are you serious? You want to go homeless for a week?" She's like feeling my head to see if I was, but. So with that said, let me just start with showing you all some videos. Some of these videos here are videos that I did, while I was homeless, and some other videos that I interviewed people that work at homeless shelters. So let me start. Do you want to start one of the videos? So the first video is a clip. Let's start the video. The clip, my 2010 experience. So this is a video that I did when I went homeless.
It's like surrounded by.
This is a video that I did when I went homeless for 1 week last year.
Garbage. Look for like a clean cardboard box and then basically just look for somewhere to sleep, because most times the places that I pick is like it's going to be on the ground, so I want to get a cardboard box. I'm going to go in the back of Union Square and see if I could get some place to sleep. I get bit really bad the last few nights by a bug or something, mosquito, I don't know what it was, but so I just have like a whole bunch of swollen marks all over, but I'm hoping tonight I get to sleep bug free and I don't have to worry about any bugs or anything like that.
I was telling you before, how I asked my manager, I take a week off from work. I don't go home for the week, and I live on the streets. I have a camera. I document the whole thing, and that was one of the clips that I did last year. So first, let's start off, because I really want to make this interactive. Does anyone have any questions about my project or anything like that? Or any comments? Yes? That's a good question. So, when I go homeless for the week, I don't really tell people what I'm doing, especially if I know that they're homeless, because because I don't want, it's hard, like I'm doing this for a week, a lot of people that are homeless, this is their reality, so I don't want to come off like I'm mocking them in some sense. So, I would tell them, look, I'm doing a documentary, and, I want to, if you mind interviewing, for this, documentary. Most of them deny, because, it's they probably don't want to. Like most of the people that I asked didn't want to be on camera, but some voluntarily, and I was able to get some stories. Yeah.
Do you keep money on you?
No, for the week that no, I don't keep any money. The first time I did it in 2009, my plan was to not have any money or don't have my cell phone. And my mom was like really bugging out. So the first time I did it, I had my cell phone, only for her sake. And the second time I did it, I made sure and prepared her. I was like, listen, I'm not carrying any cell phone or anything like that. So she's still freaking out, but I end up not doing it, having any cell phone, no money, nothing. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Let's go on this side. The first time I did it in 2009. I would go to like soup kitchens and sit down and the second time I did it because I did it twice so far. I did it first time in 2009, second time last year in 2010. I did it in the month of Ramadan, so I would go to the IC and the Islamic Center at NYU and break my fast. and take food, from iftar and use that to start my fast and everything. Yeah. Any more questions? Someone here?
What time period do you do this in? Like in 1 month,
Yeah. So last year I did it in the month of Ramadan. That was pretty tough.
Like in terms of the weather, like
Yeah.
in August, like really warm now.
Yeah. The first time I did it in 2009, I did it in the first week of March, and that was just. I mean, I don't know if you all remember like how much snow we got in. Yeah, it's really bad. And I remember, leaving my home and hopping on the subway. The weather was cold. It was fine. And then I get out the train station, and it was just like snow everywhere. I was like, oh my god, like totally having second thoughts. But I stuck through it. And yeah. Any other questions before we show the next clip? Yeah.
How does your family react?
Yeah, like I was telling you, my mom was just like, oh my god, like she was pretty much freaking out. Most of my family, they were supportive. A lot of some of my family members was just like, what are you doing? Yeah. Can't you raise awareness in a different way? Maybe hand out some flyers or something, So yeah, but they were supportive. Yeah.
What do you keep on you in terms of like items?
Yeah. So I mean, not much. I have the same clothes on for the whole week, so I don't take a shower or anything like that. And that's just really it. I mean, this is like every year I try to push myself to see what how much more I could sacrifice than I did the previous year. So I'm not sure how hardcore I'm gonna go this year, inshallah. But let's see. I'm in the process of coming up with an exact, because every year that I do it, like it's not a specific date, so I try to change up the dates. Yeah.
Is it just the experience with your work, or have you been able to help them in any way?
Yeah. So okay, that's a good question. So while I go homeless for the week, I'm a graphic designer, and so I built this website, and I would pick different homeless. Like a non-profit that relates to homelessness somehow, whether it's like a shelter or something like that. And then I would raise money for them, and 100% of the money that I raise would go directly to the. So the first year I did the coalition for the homeless, and last year I did the food bank for New York City. And so I think between two, I almost raised like. Close to $10,000 in total so far. So yeah, this year I'm in the process of picking an organization that I want to donate the money to. But yeah. So. Any other questions? Yeah.
Like in the clip you showed that when you went to sleep and then woke up, there was more homeless people there. So like when you were interacting with other homeless people, did you ever run into conflicts or anything?
No, I mean, I've heard stories, but I didn't have any like bad interactions with anyone. Because I mean, I've heard some. I mean, I think one of the most like frightening experience thing while I was going homeless was like looking for somewhere to sleep. Because a lot of people told me that the homeless are very territorial, like with where they sleep, and so I was sleeping out on the streets, like on the sidewalks and stuff, and so I was really paranoid, like not to sleep, like pick a spot to sleep where that someone else was sleeping, And so I would go to sleep. I mean, I didn't get any sleep, you know, because then I had to wake up for Fajr. You know, it was pretty intense, a pretty intense week. So I didn't do much sleeping. Yeah. No, I mean, it was just not problems, but I did have a few. You know, like I'm like, you know, I remember I was sleeping, you know, like around Union Square because that's where I would sleep, and you know, one of the cops like, you know, shook me and say, you know, you can't sleep here, you know. But I mean, as you saw in the clip, I mean, you know, I mean, this is, you know, I wasn't the only person looking for somewhere to sleep every night. And, you know, some of the people you could tell that they were homeless, but there's just, you know, others that you just can't, you know. There's no way you would know, you know. So, yeah. Yes.
You said there are some places that you weren't allowed to sleep. If you look you up, what would be acceptable places for someone to sleep?
That's a good question. I mean, there's no real like acceptable place. I mean, most people. I mean, how I picked somewhere, I just picked somewhere that would be like quiet and where I know that it's not out in the open, you know. So for the most part, I mean, people just pick somewhere that, you know, just they know that they probably wouldn't get bothered or wasn't someone else's sleeping spot, you know. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Did you get any media attention?
Yeah, I got. It was funny because this one lady, because I didn't have any way for people to reach out to me. So, I mean, this is the media attention that I got while I was home. There's this one lady, I was like sleeping on the bench in Union Square, and I just saw this lady like walking up. Like, you know, like when you're sleeping and you just feel like someone looking at you. And so I just like opened my eyes and I saw this lady like walking to me, like, you know, like she just looked extremely happy. And she came up to me and she's like, "Is your name Yusef?" And I was like, "Yeah," you know, like looking at her strange. And she was a reporter, and she said she was looking for me like for 2 hours, you know. And she did, you know, an interview like right on the spot. But I had other media attentions like The Village Voice and New York One. I was and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you have any like really memorable positive experiences with people on the street?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Say that again.
They all ignore you, or
You mean the people that I tried to? No. I mean, like I said, I've had some really good interviews. One of them I brought with me tonight, but you know, on the brochure, you could actually on the website, you could go and check out. I did a few interviews with people. Just, you know, some really kind of like heartbreaking stories of how they, you know, became homeless and just their experience. You know, because I think one of the things about this project too is I want to put a voice to, you know, a lot of these, a lot of people that are homeless. You know, I just want to kind of tell their story. You know. And just to help, because I think a lot of, so much people are just, I don't want to say naive, but, you know, I think it's just important to raise awareness about, you know, about homelessness. And any more questions? So, yeah.
How differently would you say people treated you when they thought you were homeless compared to like your normal
Sorry,
daily
can you say that again?
life?
I believe she asked, how did people treat you differently when they knew that you were going homeless? Right?
Yeah.
Like compared to your normal everyday life and stuff.
Well, well, most people that because I remember the first time I did it, and I went to a shelter, and because it was the first time I did it was in the winter, and I went to a shelter, and I didn't want to go to the shelter without letting them know, what I was doing, and so when I told her what I was doing and if I could sleep, in the shelter, she looked at me. She's like, "Listen, guy, you need to go home," So so after that experience, I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't tell much people about what I'm doing, and so that's the interaction. It was mixed. It was mixed. Like some people were like, "Wow, this is good. You really need to raise awareness about homelessness," and because there's a lot of people that don't know, how much of a serious epidemic this is, and so. And some people was just like, "Dude, you need to go home," So yeah, it was mixed. Yeah.
Was it hard for you to find places to pray?
That's such a great question. I don't know if any of y'all ever prayed by yourself out in public before, but I've prayed in public before, but I always did it with other Muslims, and so doing it by myself was just wow, it's kind of strange, You definitely get you get looks regardless, when you pray out in public, but I don't know, the looks was just different when I was praying on my own. Yeah.
Did you meet any homeless Muslims?
No, I didn't meet any homeless Muslims. I didn't meet any homeless Muslims. Yeah. When I was out on the street, at least. Yeah.
Did you ever encounter families in children or something?
I didn't, and I'm going to show you the next clip, and you're going to see this. I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, I didn't meet any homeless. No, I didn't actually. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
I'm assuming you were busy during this whole time with your camera and trying to interview people.
Mm-hmm.
But people who are homeless, what do they do during the day?
Well, one of I think the biggest misconceptions about the homeless, I think, is a lot of people think that, a lot of the homeless people that I met actually have jobs, and so not all the homeless people are hand peddlers that we see on the train. Some of them are really out there working minimum wage and just trying to get by and live, Yeah. So yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
How did you want to do with you to?
So so I had I had a bottle of water with me that I would take from the from iftar, whatever. I would do and yeah.
What was your daily routine?
It just I had while I was homeless, I printed out a whole bunch of flyers, and I would stand in front of this subway station and just give out flyers basically, and just talk to people, not actually the homeless, but just people that were passing by, and just let them know what I was doing.
Did you stay in the same area, or did you?
Yeah, so I don't know, in Union Square in New York City. Yeah, so that's the area that I was staying in. Yeah, so let's play the next movie clip.
Sorry,
Yeah.
one last question.
No.
Did you run into anyone you know?
Yeah, that was I ran into a few people that some people know that I was doing the project, and so they came out looking for me because I was homeless within Union Square area, and some of the people were like, wow, because there's a lot of homeless in that area, and so they they said that looking for me actually forced them to look at all the homeless people that were in the area, and that was something that they never did before, you know. And so yeah. Okay, so we're gonna play this next clip. This clip is about how bad the homeless situation is in LA. I don't know if anyone is from LA. Any? No? Okay. But yeah, take a look.